The US Justice Department has charged 12 Russians with hacking offences. It's part of an investigation by Special Counsel Robert Mueller into alleged meddling in the 2016 presidential election.
The indictment charges 12 Russian military officers by name for conspiring to interfere with the 2016 presidential election. 11 of the defendants are charged with conspiring to hack into computers, steal documents, and release those documents with the intent to interfere in the election.
Well, the 12 Russians, said to be members of Russian military intelligence, are accused of hacking Democratic Party emails on Hillary Clinton's campaign. The indictment says they created online personas to publish the stolen information. The Justice Department, though, says there was, quote, no evidence the alleged interference changed the course of the election.
There's no allegation that the conspiracy changed the vote count or affected any election result.
Moscow says the timing of the announcement shows that it's designed to have a negative impact now on Monday's Trump-Putin summit. Yunan O'Neill discussed the controversy with our correspondent Igor Zhdanov in a bit more depth.
Everything in this investigation, when it comes to the hacking of the Democratic Party, it revolves around the DNC server. So we don't know, as I've said, where Mueller got his information from, but what we do know is where he didn't get it from, apparently. And that is the FBI, as they themselves have numerously admitted to fail to examine the server themselves. Have a listen.
When did the DNC provide access to the FBI for your technical folks to review what happened?
Well, we never got direct access to the machines themselves.
Well, that begs the question, doesn't it? If the FBI had no access to DNC servers, Igor, who had?
In this exact case, we don't know exactly, but we know that previously all the information about this server came from a company named CrowdStrike. It's a company that was hired by the DNC, received money from the DNC for maintaining and taking care of their servers. And so they were the ones who provided the FBI with all the logs and all the information. And although CrowdStrike itself says that the information they gave, it's a carbon copy of, it's like the exact same thing as what was on the actual server. There's no real way of proving that, of verifying that, because they have tampered with the server quite a bit. They have already restructured it back in 2016 in this whole server. So that did raise some questions as well.
The DNC never turned the server over to law enforcement. If you're investigating, either from a law enforcement or from an intelligence standpoint, the hacking by a foreign hostile government, wouldn't you want the server? Wouldn't that help you, number one, identify who the attacker was? If they had turned the server over to either you or Director Comey, maybe we would have known more. So I guess what I'm asking you is, why would the victim of a crime not turn over a server to the intelligence community or to law enforcement?
And this question is what many, many people are asking, because think of it from a following standpoint. Say there was a crime in some apartment. The police show at the door, and then the victim's roommate shows up and says, look, I live in the same room, I saw everything happen, here's your forensics, like fingerprints, traces of hair, DNA, pictures from the crime scene, you're all good. And the police, they say, oh, then fine, then we won't examine the actual crime scene, since what you're showing to us is the exact copy and the exact account of events of what happened. This is pretty much what the FBI did there.
What happens now? Is there a trial?
Well, naturally, yes, this is what Mueller is pursuing. But there's a catch, because look at who he's indicted. He's indicted several intelligence officers of Russia. And obviously, if there is a trial...
Based in Russia.
Based in Russia, of course. And if there is a trial, it is set to happen on the US soil. No one in their right minds would be sending intelligence officers to a foreign country. I mean, it doesn't really matter whether or not they are accused of anything, whether or not they're guilty or not. It's intelligence officers. They have information clearances and everything. Some of them may not be allowed to travel abroad at all. So Mueller is finding himself with this indictment in a very comfortable position, because if a trial happens, it will be a trial in absentia, which means that chances are nobody will represent these intelligence officers, which pretty much guarantees a guilty verdict.
The executive director of the Ron Paul Peace Institute believes the timing of the case here is highly significant.
If you're the victim of a crime, why would you not want to hand the evidence over to the police? The fact of the matter is the company they had doing their security is a politically biased company that was involved in all sorts of things, to steal dossier and other things. So it is a big question, but the other big question really is the timing. And once again, we have an indictment on a Friday before a weekend, but not just any weekend. This is a weekend before the much-anticipated Trump-Putin summit. The political implications of dropping the indictments to poison the waters in advance of the Trump-Putin summit, this is clearly the work of the U.S. deep state.